How are you, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Rich.
What was that flight home like, Coach?
It was good. Our guys were excited. I think, we have some veteran leadership. They came out here for a reason and with a purpose, and they were really, really excited how Week 1 went.
I'm sure the name J.J. Watt rolls off the tongue, certainly when you're referring to veteran leadership that came to Arizona. What has he brought to the equation, Kliff Kingsbury?
He's really lifted up the entire building. I mean, when he walks in, whether it's the weight room or meetings or you're on a Zoom, I mean, he is intense. He's looking you in the eyes. He's taking notes. And that's been a great example for the young players in this organization. None of us want to let him down, coaches and players, and you feel that, every day that he shows up.
Well, and then A.J. Green is another, but I want to put a pin in that for the moment and just focus on the defense. And what Chandler Jones did yesterday is all-time single-game stuff, Coach. What have you seen in Chandler? What happened yesterday? And it's not an outlier, but I just want to, lift the hood up on his performance right now.
He's been phenomenal in training camp. I mean, to the point where certain practices, it's almost like, hey, let's sit Chandler out so we can get a pass off. I mean, he's been that dominant. So it's when you see that in practice and you think you know what you're seeing, and then it shows up on Sunday, that's always rewarding for a coach. And he really set the tone in that game. He had a tackle for a loss on Henry the very first play of the game, and then got the strip stack that put us in position for more points there early, and he was phenomenal.
I assume he got a game ball?
He did. There's no doubt.
That's one of those where did whoever hands you the ball for the game ball? There was probably no discussion about it, right? Like that's.
They hand you the note. I didn't even know how many sacks he had, and it said 5 sacks. I'm like, Jesus.
Really?
Yeah,
you didn't?
He gets one. I didn't know at the time. You're just on the sideline watching. You know he's killing it, but you don't know the exact stats.
Yeah, and then 2 forced fumbles too. I mean, just insane. I mean, you've been around the sport. Have you seen anything like that before?
That's the best performance I've seen from a pass rusher, as a player or a coach. It was phenomenal. I mean, he dominated the entire day.
And then your quarterback did as well. Kliff Kingsbury here on the Rich Eisen Show. What did Kyler work on this non-playing season that he brought to bear in Tennessee in Week 1?
Really consistency and approach. Last year we had our moments, we had our flashes. We didn't finish the way we wanted, and I think we both recognize we have to be more consistent. How we approach week in and week out and have a great game plan and attack, and that's what he did. Whether it was his feet or his legs, he was aggressive and played downhill the entire game.
What's he like, man? I mean, walk me through what he's like.
He's intense. I mean, ultra competitive. He expects perfection each and every day, and he carries a chip on his shoulder, and you feel that at practice. I mean, he wants to do it right all the time. He wants to win all the time, and there's definitely an intensity that you feel.
So where do you think does that come from? I mean, you've been obviously around him for a very long time with your college coaching days in the state of Texas. I'm sure you had your eye on him for a very long time. Where does that come from?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with his dad. His dad is super competitive, was a tremendous college quarterback there at Texas A&M, and just raised him that way. Whatever sport it was, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, I mean, he was always raised to be the best and win. And he really hadn't lost many games prior to getting to the NFL, and I think that was part of the learning curve was, hey, it's not always going to be pretty in this league. There's really good teams. You came to the last place team, and it's going to be a process, and he's had to learn to kind of battle through that.
And when it comes to his ability to throw and run, I mean, how much do you – I mean, there was one play, if I'm not mistaken, where I think the next-gen stat number on the number of times that the amount of yards he carried before throwing it was over 40, like something insane like that, something stupid like that.
Yeah, phenomenal play call there, just to have him run 40 yards prior.
Isn't
to
it? I mean,
loose.
You're a genius. I mean, but
hey,
what is
I take all the credit. Trust me.
What's that like for you on the sideline? When
it's a lot of the no, yes. I mean, having worked with Patrick and Johnny, I mean, those guys, they make it fun because they can turn a bad play call into a good one real quick, and that's what Kyler did on that play.
And you're referring to Mahomes and Manziel in that
yes,
front.
Sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you say to Kyler when you see him next? after a play like that.
High five him. Nice job, bud. And keep it moving. I mean, those guys that have that ability, I learned that a long time ago. You don't want to pull the reins too tight. If they can make plays like that, let them do their thing.
Well, I mean, there is a coaching aspect to this where you got to know when to push the pedal to the metal and say, let's not do that, or like, screw it. I mean, I got a stallion here that I need to ride as well and let him do what he wants to do. I'm wondering what that's like.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was fortunate enough to learn it early in my coaching career. Case Keenum was the first one. He's got those quick feet, can extend plays, and he would turn really bad play calls by me into really good plays. And since then, I've just learned, hey, if they have that ability, I mean, there's a certain line you walk, but you got to let them play the game.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.